Here on campus at York is quite a diverse student population. So in order for everyone to feel inclusive, we need to have a better understanding of who we are.
I define inclusion as a culture that gets built to foster an environment where everybody is able to show their strengths.
I think inclusion in that sense represents the journey to a place where we have this sense of equal ownership over what it is to look like a Canadian or act like a Canadian.
One of the things that's really important about inclusion in this particular country is when we come to defining things is the bringing together of all of the people in this country who are thinking about inclusion and having them have a conversation about what inclusion means to them.
An inclusive campus is a campus in which everybody, that's students, faculty, and staff, everybody feels that they are treated equally, equitably. Everybody feels also safe to speak, safe to share their views. They feel that they have totally safe environment. And the word safety for me is very broad. We teach in the way that we govern ourselves, in the way that we act as a community in our research activities. All of that is the place where inclusion happens or where we fail to be advancing that aspiration and that goal.
I give the example often of the equal right to education. It must be supported by equity in terms of any sort of supports for students to access resources for their teachers, accessing a textbook out of a library, or even accessing schooling from a financial position.
I look around the room and I think it's also thinking about who isn't there when you're thinking about inclusion, because you can just get so used to the status quo. So people are actually part of decision making and feel safe to be able to speak their mind and say what they need to say.
Et pour moi, l'inclusion, c'est maintenir et se lutter pour assurer la sécurité psychologique et un sentiment d'appartenance pour tous les membres d'une communauté, surtout par l'entremise du dialogue, de l'écoute active et par l'action communautaire. Donc, c'est vraiment vivre les valeurs de la diversité et de l'équité.
There is a growing body of research, both Canadian and international, showing that diverse groups, whether by race or gender, are more likely to make better decisions, more innovative decisions. And this should really resonate with our common sense.
We know that when individuals have a chance to share their thoughts, to share their ideas, to have their voice heard, to have their voice asked of them, then in fact they bring about much better results for the university, much better research, much better outcomes, much better results and ideas.
Diverse groups are more likely to bring different life experiences and different lenses to problem solving, more likely to bring different assumptions or question group member assumptions, and for this reason are also more likely to stumble across the kind of complexity and novelty that drives curiosity and ideas.
You know, a top priority in our university academic plan is for York University to become increasingly research intensive, and we do very well now on our research impact. And when we think about that success, our commitment to inclusion is so fundamental. We're interested in attracting the very best faculty, student, staff from around the world, and that is contributing to York's leadership in the area of research.
Inclusion is critical to the future of Canada. It's critical to our success as a socially cohesive entity. But what I think the linchpin is that we need to ensure that it's much more than just inclusion or toleration of difference. I think you need to work on integration, valuing, respecting, and celebrating difference if you actually want to give meaning to this concept of inclusion.
The future in 5 years, 10 years, 15, 25, 50 years is that Canada is going to have the non-Indigenous blob of population that people talk about is actually going to be an immigrant population. And that's completely different narrative.
This is particularly important in this era of globalization. Local problems carry within them national and international implications and applications. And for this reason, it is so crucial at this time to engage in cross-cultural thinking.
People say, well, we don't have the resources to be inclusive. And I'll just reach over and shake their hand and I'll say, how much did that cost you? And they're like, well, nothing. And I'm like, exactly. Because inclusion isn't necessarily about buying people off. Inclusion is about opening your heart and opening your door and opening the table that you eat at and understanding that when we break bread together, that says something about how we regard each other, because we've now become friends.